Joining us now is Tomcsik Husak, the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, back with us on the Megacast. Tara, thank you for being with us.
Good to see you guys again.
Appreciate having you on. So how are things going over in Troy and with that business community? Because where we're at in the COVID-19 pandemic is kind of an interesting spot. As businesses were coming back into somewhat regular form, as were customers coming back more regularly into a lot of our businesses, and then the Omicron variant comes into play and kind of shakes things up. And it's very similar in some ways to where we began this pandemic, and in other ways, very much a blend of the past and the present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. The reality is that every day has become a new challenge. Now, with that being said, I would say most of our businesses have still been really resilient in that aspect. So they're just keeping safety at the forefront, but they're running business as usual. So it's nice to see more people still coming into the office, but we're still seeing an increase in safety precautions as well. So it's one of those things. It's just one giant circle, and every day is new, and we have to just figure out how to help our members.
And one of the ongoing concerns of businesses across the board in Michigan and throughout the U.S. has been staffing over the last several months, really over the last year, as businesses have began to reopen, as some of those regulations and restrictions that were in place were lifted, and these companies needed to refill those positions that were emptied earlier on in the pandemic from furloughs or layoffs, or whatever the case may be, or to replace those that moved on to other jobs or other careers altogether. In Troy, how are our businesses faring in filling some of those job openings at this time as the job market's kind of fluctuated between people taking these jobs and people being more hesitant to take these jobs?
You know, it goes both ways. What I will say is Troy is lucky. We are absolutely having a staffing issue. That is not something I'm going to gloss over. But what I will say is that we're also surrounded by some of the best staffing companies in the area. So Troy is actually home to so many of them, and we have so many members who work to help people find their staffs. So these recruitment firms have been really helpful. I will say, from an advice standpoint, if you are struggling to find staff, that is something to be paying attention to. Look at these recruitment firms. In addition, we actually started and launched our jobs board last year. And so now we're actually working with our members to promote their jobs that are going out. So we're promoting jobs that are available on social media, in our Monday e-newsletter, things of that nature. So we opened it up for our members to post jobs for free. And we've actually filled quite a few jobs. So we're doing pretty good with that category and really trying to push that initiative forward.
We're joined by Tomcsik Husak. She is the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, joining us on the Megacast. And so with all these changes that are constantly happening, and these businesses need to be able to balance, of course, the need for safety protocols to be in place to keep their employees safe, to keep their customers safe, to keep the community safe, but also the constant change that we've been experiencing over these 2 years plus almost of this pandemic. What sort of advice or what sort of guidance is being provided by the Chamber for these businesses to help them continue to navigate these constant changes, but also ready themselves to when things do clear up eventually and we create whatever normal is going to be in the post-pandemic world, that they can hit the gas right away and start to really emphasize that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, we stay abreast of everything. So when a lot of it, while we're talking about staffing and we're talking about some of these resources, our businesses sometimes are struggling they're used to seeing face-to-face meetings. They're used to being able to go out there. And we've opened up more. Like we said, we've increased our safety precautions, but we're doing in-person events again. We're still allowing networking to happen, but we're doing it safely. In addition, we spend a lot of time, I can tell you, every weekend. All I'm doing is researching new grant fundings, new things that we can help not only our businesses, but some of our nonprofit industries. And then we're actually, as we're going through it, if we see something that fits some of our members, we email it to them. Because as we know, if you have no staff and you're struggling with that, you don't have that extra time to see what are the resources available. So we're kind of utilizing our time to make sure we can get those resources directly to our members instead of them having to hunt it down.
We're joined by Tomcsik Husak, the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, joining us on the Megacast. And so we're just about out of the month of January, and some exciting events coming up in February through the Chamber of Commerce there in Troy. On the 24th, the Chamber will be putting on a virtual version of its Business Excellence Awards presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan. Can you tell us about these awards? It's still possible to submit nominations for businesses or for individuals for the awards coming up in February.
So there's the nominations are closed. We're actually really excited. So we actually started the voting process last week. We already have almost 4,000 votes that have already come in. We have 12 categories, and thanks to our presenting sponsor, Children's Hospital of Michigan, we couldn't have done it without them. And then each of our awards also has a sponsor that helped dedicate to make sure that this event could actually happen. But we had over 90 nominees, and the votes are just piling in. And it's great because I think everyone has had a rough year of some sort. We still have to remember we need to celebrate the achievements and accomplishments of not only some of our business professionals, but some of the great work that our companies have been doing. And if you actually go to our website, you can take a look and read about all the great things that some of these members are doing. Whether it be the Panda 1 team from Children's Hospital of Michigan, it's the helicopter that will go and immediately be able to get to these pediatric patients and bring them back to the hospital quickly and more efficiently, to the Detroit Zoo at how they created this most innovative process of making sure that they could still meet and educate the younger generation through their vitamin Z program. So really good stuff. It's just really exciting to see all these people stepping up.
You can learn more about the Troy Chamber and about this upcoming event by visiting their website at troychamber.com. We're joined by the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, Tomcsik Husak, on the Megacast. And so for those that are interested in the Business Excellence Awards coming up on February 24th, now that the nominations are closed and voting has already begun, how can they participate if they'd like to join in on this event?
Sure. So it's actually a live stream event. We are going to be in a studio doing a recording, and it's going to be almost like watching the Oscars, but you can watch it directly on your laptop. So I would just say go to troychamber.com. Make sure you vote. Read the great things that our members are doing, because you can actually get a little blurb of each of the nominations so you can understand all the great things that are happening in the community. Vote for some of these great business professionals, and then also make sure you're shopping local and supporting your local businesses. We have so many sponsors who have helped to sponsor some of these awards and these events. Make sure you're looking at their businesses as well, because as we know, they're the ones giving back to the community. We should be paying attention to them as well.
We're joined by Tomcsik Husak, the president and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Again, all that information on how you can vote and how you can learn more about some of these great businesses doing great things in Troy and the surrounding area by visiting their website at troychamber.com. And so as we've endured so many of these changes throughout the pandemic, of course, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of our local businesses, but a lot of other businesses have arisen from those ashes as well, and as people have transitioned into different career paths or have decided to take the plunge and begin their business as well. What are some of the more exciting or notable businesses that have sprung up in Troy of late that you can tell us about?
So what actually is not necessarily sprung up, it's kind of the creation, and it's actually one of our nominees. And Cadillac Automotive Products. So Cadillac Products, they worked in automotive components. And there's a really great story about how the CEO's niece actually came up and during the pandemic and said, a lot of us nurses were wearing garbage bags right now. So obviously that was a problem. So she actually was asking, hey, can we get some garbage bags so we can wear this to protect ourselves in the hospital? Now, that is just mind-blowing that this happened early in the pandemic. Well, they saw this, listened to it, and said, well, no, absolutely not. We are not going to give you garbage bags. What we're going to do is we're going to create the product you need right here in Troy, Michigan. So Cadillac Products teamed up and they started creating PPE gowns for these nurses to wear, where we didn't have to worry about supply chain management of having it come from China or overseas. It was directly here in Troy, Michigan. And that's some of the great success stories. So as we have a company that is listening to a need, they actually built, now they're doing this as another part of their company, and they're building this product. And to me, I find it so inspiring to hear when you hear businesses listening to what the real need is and actually being able to pivot and build a brand new business around it. And actually Mike Williams, who is the CEO of that sector, he's actually going to be our CEO speaker and talk to us about some of those great initiatives and how that all worked out together. And that's going to actually be in March as well. But it's success stories like that. It's showing our businesses and showcasing all the great things that they're doing. And we hear these stories every day.
We're joined by Troy Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Tara Tomcsik Husak on the Megacast. You can learn more information about the Chamber as well as access a number of its great resources by visiting their website at troychamber.com. Tara, just another couple minutes with you. Anything else that we should be keeping in mind about the Troy business community at this time, or other exciting news and information we haven't spoken about today just yet?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I would just say if you're not a member of a chamber, you should join. If you're a business, there is no greater time, because as we're seeing businesses, there's a new hurdle every day. Let us help you. Let us be that resource. Let us help you connect. That's our job, and that's what we're here for. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're always here.
Tara, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.